right, you maggots, listen up. Uh, in the picture there, you'll see a can of spray paint. It's very crucial to the story. Uh, Someone said that I have a lot of stories. Yes, I do. I have a good memory. I can actually remember things really well in detail. And there are funny things that happen. Having a good memory is both a blessing and a curse. And a lot of the curse part of it is you remember all the nasty things people have done to you, all the tricky things. And then years later, you realize how somebody screwed you over. So let me tell you one of the funnier things, which really wasn't funny at the time. All right, so picture three kids, or three guys, three young guys. I was one of them. And we're walking down to two guys to buy plants for our mothers for Easter. Now, we had out of the three personalities, I was more easygoing. I never worried about my clothing or my shoes, or if somebody scuffed it or if somebody spilled something on me. It didn't bother me. And one of the other guys was basically the same. It wouldn't stop us from going under a car and getting a baseball, you know. But the other guy was a little bit more careful with his clothing. Now, on this day in question, on the day in question, we're walking down to two guys. We're going to get plants for our mothers for Easter. I already said that. So we're walking, and it's 3 miles. So you're walking down, you're talking about your different things. And the one guy had a brand new jacket on, and it was when they started using that parachute cloth or umbrella cloth on it. It's more like a ski jacket type thing. And we're talking Easter time, and he got the jacket not for Christmas but for Easter, and it was a nice jacket, all these zippers on it and stuff. And all the way down, he's talking about his jacket. Don't touch my jacket. Watch out for my jacket. And in other words, you're walking next to him, and you might just accidentally brush up against him. And he goes, "Hey, my jacket, like that." And this is a guy that would spill stuff on you. He would be pouring oil, and a drop would come down, get caught in the air or in a breeze, and land on you, and it didn't matter. But now he's got a jacket on. Hey, watch out for my jacket. And we're going to hear about how great this jacket is for 3 miles all the way down to two guys. So now we go into two guys, and I always got an azalea plant because they're pretty hardy. And we'd stick it out. My father would plant it somewhere out in the yard. Not correctly, it would never make it. Anyway, so I would get an azalea, and this other kid would always copy me. And then the kid with the jacket, he got an Easter lily. I don't know if you've ever carried an Easter lily home for 3 miles, but you got to be very careful with it, or you'll break the buds off. You buy it with the buds on it, and then it blooms while you have it. So we go into two guys, and we get the plants, and we're coming back, and there were these long. It was along the river, Passaic River. It was Passaic Road, Passaic Avenue in Kearney, and there were these long stretches of lots where they knocked buildings down. They were making it a riverbank park. So you're walking across these abandoned properties, and I look down on the ground, and I see it. All right, an aerosol can, a paint aerosol can, but I didn't know it was a paint aerosol can. In those days, they actually had labels on cans that could peel off, and you really couldn't tell what was in it. And the one kid that was with me, he knew that I had the one incredible skill, and it was a stupid skill. And I would lay one of these on its side, on the ground, put the back facing towards me, and I would pick up a stone, and I would throw it, and I'd hit the bottom of the can. And the can would get a little hole in it, and it would take off in the air in a circle. It would go around in a circle. As it went up in the air, it would go like in a spiral. That's it. That's the perfect word, spiral. Now, the one kid that was with me, without the new jacket, he knew to stand behind me when I did the trick. I won't go into why. He painted himself green one time because he wanted to show me that he could do the same thing. So he took a full can of paint out of a dumpster by a bowling alley. I have to tell the story. And he took it out of the field and he says, "What will happen when I hit it with a brick?" I said, "It's going to paint you. The entire can of paint is going to come airborne." Well, he threw the brick down and he became green. Anyway, so now we're back to the can. I got it on the ground. He knows to stand behind me. The guy with the lily gets this like premonition, and he starts running up the road towards home. And he's really far away, and he still just keeps running. So I throw the stone down, and I hit the can, and the can becomes airborne, and it goes up into the air, maybe 40 feet in a big spiral. Well, that's when we see, me and the other guy see the mist in the air. The sky and the air actually turns black. And this guy's got his lily, and he's running ahead of this mist with the lily, and he's trying not to break the buds on the lily, and he gets peppered with the paint. And he's really far up. I can't tell you. It wasn't a football field. It was half a football field. Was it 175 yards? Would it be 50 yards? 50-yard line. Okay, so he's 50 yards up, 150 feet, and he gets hit. Now we go running up there, and we start brushing down his jacket with our hands, and it's coming off. But that's because the paint, the can wasn't shook up, and part of the pigment is on his jacket, and part of the would be the liquid that the paint is in, the drying liquid. And then all of a sudden, we couldn't wipe the dots off anymore. Now, all the way home, I have to listen to him that I'm going to buy him a new jacket, and he's complaining about the jacket. And the kid that was with me, he starts telling everybody the story, and he can tell it pretty funny. And he says, just the way you were describing the kid running with the Easter lily out in front of him. Oh, and the Easter lily got peppered too. The Easter lily, all the leaves on the Easter lily had black dots on them. And it was incredibly funny. And as soon as I come through the door in the house with the azalea bush, I told my mother what happened. And she says, just batted it off like, who cares? He's broken enough of your stuff. That was the truth. This kid, he didn't care what he did to your stuff, but now his brand new jacket got you couldn't have screwed over his jacket any better than that. But for weeks, he had to wear that jacket until it got warmer, and it had all these little black dots all over it. He just, I could have handled it. I say, oh yeah, I said, we were screwing with a can of paint, and I got these black dots all over my jacket. That's all I would say. I said, yeah, you know how I am. I mean, the ball goes under the car. Nobody else wants to go under there. I go under the car, I get the ball out, and I got grease on my clothing. And I go home. My mother goes, oh, what happened to this shirt? And I go, I went under the car to get the ball. And that's kid stuff. And my mother really complained a lot, but that she understood. You're being a kid. That's what kids do. They reach under a car. When you reach under a car, you don't know if it's an oil dripper car or, you know, what's under there. And you come out and you got oil on your clothing, and she'd put it in the wash. And if it didn't come out, I'd be wearing it. Some neighbor would say, what's wrong with that shirt? I said, I went to get a ball under a car, and the oil got on my shirt, and we've washed it, but it didn't come out. That's, you wear clothes until they wear out. And that's how I am. I still do that to this day. I wear hoodies until the cuffs become tattered. And then at the end of the season, I go through my hoodies and I throw a hoodie out. And sometime during the season, winter, I buy a new hoodie. So every year a hoodie goes out and a new hoodie comes in. And on a cold day like today, I wear two hoodies and a baseball cap and a pair of gloves. I always have a pair of gloves with me because when you get older, you can get cold. But anyway, picture this kid running ahead with that lily, that Easter lily. I never really, to this day when I see an Easter lily in the ground or for sale, I think of the guy's jacket. But all the way down, hey, that's a new jacket. Watch out for my jacket. Man, I couldn't have, and it was innocent. I didn't know the can was going to go, it went really good. I've done a lot of aerosol cans. They've gone. I've done them down by the river, and they went skipping along the water. And other kids are like, "Holy crap!" And they try it. And when they throw the rock, they use too big a rock, put too big of a hole, or they put too small of a hole. But that was one of my knacks, and I could get just the right hole in the bottom of the can, and it would become airborne, and it would do a big spiral. And the kid that painted himself green with a can, he'd stand behind me. He'd use me as a shield. So if the paint came back our way, he was behind me, and I'd get it. And it never happened. It always went out ahead of me, and the safest place he figured out was behind me. But this other kid, I'm out of here. I'm getting out. He goes up Passaic Avenue. He's up there, and he's across. He's across one of the, like I said, 150 feet. He's across one of the abandoned lot things. Now, I thought the can originally was some type of maybe car polish, spray car polish, but it wasn't. It was a can of black paint, and it just laid there, and the nozzle was missing. See, when I would see it, I didn't care if the nozzle was missing. I knew the can might have some paint in it, or it might have propellant in it, and I would lay it down, and the kids behind me would scatter over the years. He's got a paint can. They scatter. They scatter like cockroaches. Man, did you hear about that jacket? Man, I heard about that jacket. And it was a bad, funny story. All right. And I think that's it. All right. That's it.